car. We had to do a little car swap-a-rooney because kids' cars were parked a little funky, so Danny had to move them all so that we could go. So he's moving cars right now. I'm going and putting the keys back. I would give anything for a cup of coffee right now. Oh, mood lighting. I'll have to give a little bleep. Don't forget to start the car. Oh, okay. Alright, ready? Okay, be careful because it's very slippery.
Oh, I know.
Okay. In the elevator. Oh. We're checked in. We're in a Johnny. I've got my hairnet to put on. She said I didn't have to put it on until it was closer to going back. Waiting for them to come in and do their pre-op questions, and then they'll let Danny back. I don't like being here without him. That's very stressful. I wasn't prepared. So they said they're going to let him back here shortly. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany, and welcome to week 1 post tummy tuck, mommy makeover, breast lift, and I'm here to give you my first update of I don't know how many, coming at you from Charlotte Grove Farmhouse Central. This is where I've been living my life. So glad you're here. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we go any further in today's video, I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, Wild Grain. January always feels like a reset to me. Slower mornings, getting back into routines, and choosing foods that feel comforting and nourishing. And that's exactly why I love having Wild Grain in my freezer. Everything from Wild Grain goes from freezer to table in 25 minutes or less. No prep, no mess, and honestly, no stress. It's perfect for busy weekdays or cozy weekends at home. What really sets Wild Grain apart is how it's made. Their breads are slow fermented using simple ingredients you can actually pronounce, which makes them easier on your belly and richer in nutrients and antioxidants compared to most store-bought bread. I also love that every box supports local bakeries across the country, and with every order, Wild Grain donates 2 meals to a nonprofit of your choice. It feels good knowing your purchase gives back. You can fully customize your box too, with seasonal and limited time options always being added so it never gets boring. So if you want to start your year off with easy bakery fresh bread at home, visit wildgrain.com/CharlotteGrove and use my code CharlotteGrove for $30 off your first box. And the best part, free croissants for life. The croissants are my absolute favorite. They are so delicious. Wild Grain makes everyday meals feel special, even in this quiet season. So thank you again to Wild Grain for not only bringing delicious bakery fresh items into my home, but for sponsoring today's video. So I made myself a little video outline so that I don't forget what I want to talk to you about. But I want to start by just saying, I don't know if you can see me very well. Hopefully you can. We'll find out in post-op or in post-editing. But first and foremost, I just want to say a gigantic thank you to every single one of you who has reached out to me here on YouTube, on Instagram, through DM. You've commented on my reels, commented on my posts here. You guys have been incredible. So many of you were like, we need to know you're okay. And that means the world to me. We just have the best community, and I thank you guys so much. I know a lot of you were hoping for this video before other videos, and I totally get that. And I'll explain, I thought that you would have had that as well, but I'll explain why you didn't. And, we'll talk about all the things, but we can't go any further without saying a gigantic thank you. You guys are incredible, and you just make me feel so loved. And I saw something on the internet months ago about no one roots for you harder than a stranger on the internet. And it is so incredibly true. I just feel so much love and gratitude and appreciation from you guys. And I hope that you feel it from me too. So thank you to all of you. Okay, so let me look at my notes. I want to start by saying that today marks exactly 1 week from surgery, and I am feeling fan-friggin-tastic. I feel so good, and it's actually kind of messing with my mind a little bit, and I'll explain that in a little while. But We are 1 week post-op. I don't know exactly how much footage I got like before surgery and like during and all that stuff because it's kind of a blur. Like the first 24 to 48 hours are a little bit of a blur. I went into surgery on the 30th. And so just quick little reminder for those of you who maybe aren't aware, I was scheduled for a mommy makeover. So abdominoplasty and breast lift with abdominal muscle repair and an umbilical hernia repair. And my doctor, which I'm happy to talk about my doctor. I didn't before because I wasn't ready to endorse somebody if I didn't, have a good experience. And if I needed to talk, negatively, I wanted to do it freely and not like put a doctor on blast. But I now feel comfortable talking about the doctor that I used. I used Dr. Lilikos with the UMass Plastic Surgery Department in Massachusetts. I had my surgery at the UMass, that other hospital down in Worcester on the Shrewsbury line. If you're from the area, she's phenomenal. She has a degree, Dr. Lilikos has a degree in medical artistry, which I had never heard of that before. And she specializes in facial reconstruction after like car accidents or cleft palate. And I told you guys before in my tummy tuck video that I really wanted a doctor that I didn't want it to feel glitzy and glammy. I wanted it to feel, because I didn't feel like I belonged in that situation. I wasn't doing this out of vanity. I was doing this because I wanted to repair my muscles so that I could feel strong again and do all the things I want to do. And going to one of those, standalone surgical centers just felt very out of character for me. And so, this is a regular doctor's office. I actually found the doctor's office when I went in to go get the skin cancer removed from my leg. I had a really good experience with the entire practice and I was very happy with my results. And so while I was there, I just asked if they also did other types of plastic surgery. And of course they did. Scheduled my appointment with Dr. Lilikos after reading lots of reviews. It's a medical teaching hospital, so they don't do any kind of before and after pictures. So I had to go off of pure word of mouth and reviews. And she is very sought after in the fact that, she didn't have anything available for months on end, almost a whole year, made me feel really good. And that, I was making the right choice. And every person that I met that knew her was like, she's incredible. She's who I would go to. Quirky, funny. She's got a really dry sense of humor, very funny, and incredibly, like, just such a brilliant mind. And it was very apparent that her goal in all of this was a healthy patient with good, healthy outcomes and not, the vanity part of it, which some might say, well, this is plastic surgery. You want the vanity piece. I totally understand that. But I felt very, very comfortable. And my results so far, I feel like I made the best decision for myself. So I had surgery on the 30th. I had to be there at 6:15. It's about a 35-minute drive from my house. So I got up, I set my alarm for 4:30 so that I could shower. You have to use the special soaps and everything. And there's a fly. I'm just gonna warn you that it's gonna fly in front of the camera. It's gonna make me absolutely nuts, but I've told you guys before, I've got flies and I can't get rid of them and they're making me bananas. I had to be there at 6:15, so I got up at 4:30. I took the shower. I took last minute, before videos and pictures. I'm regretting now I didn't do naked pictures before and after. And that was dumb. I wish I had. I didn't do them because I didn't want to see them. I know that's so sad, but I didn't like looking at myself naked, so I didn't take those pictures. I took pictures in a bathing suit and I took pictures in bra and underwear, but I very much regret not having those before pictures. But I know that my surgeon took before and after, or before pictures, and I was in the buff, so I'm gonna try to get a hold of those. But I did the before video. We got to the hospital. I couldn't have anything to eat, obviously, same stuff for normal surgery. Got to the hospital just in time. Danny dropped me off at the emergency entrance because it was so early. That was the only thing that was open, and I just went straight up to surgery. There's a lot, you know, it's just a general surgery area. I could have had surgery in the surgical center, but because mine was going to be so extensive, the doctor wanted to do it in the hospital in case there were complications or in case I needed to stay overnight. She's like, I don't want to have to worry about, you know, getting you out of there before 5 p.m., before it closes. Like, I want you to be able to take your time. And I was very thoughtful of her. And it ended up working out because I did end up staying the night. So I got checked in. Danny went to go park the car. He came back. He went to the bathroom, and before he came back, they already had called me back. And I felt terrible. It gave me a lot of anxiety that I wasn't able to like kiss him before I went back, and they didn't let him come back for the pre-op questions and everything, where in my hysterectomy they did. And he's like my little support animal, so that like stressed me out a little bit. But I was a big girl, went back there myself, did my weight, did all that stuff, did my questions, and met with the pre-op nurse. Got into the hospital gown. Then I finally asked my nurse. She was super cool. Everybody was incredible. I did not have a single nurse, custodian, anybody who was not just top-notch grade A, like customer service, and just wonderful. My nurse was super cool, and once we were done, like getting all the things done, she was like, can I get you anything else? I was like, yes, can I have my husband? And she was like, absolutely, let me go get him. So then he was able to be in there for the anesthesiologist. She came in, she talked to me, we did that whole thing. She put my IV in. They did do my IV in my wrist. I have really deep veins, and so she did one in my wrist, and she used a really big needle, like a 16 gauge. I still have the hole. My nurse friend, Stacy, if you're watching this, she was like, stop being a baby. But normally they use like the little butterfly needle, you know? And so it hurt. And she like really put it in there, and I couldn't move my wrist, but I was like, whatever, I'm gonna be under anesthesia, who cares, right? And then when Dr. Lalikos came in, I met with the other, Dr. Perugini he's the general surgeon that did my hernia repair and assisted with the abdominal muscle repair, sorry. He came in and he was like, oh, it's nice to see you again. And I was like, nope, we've never met. And he was like, what, are you sure? And I was like, oh, I'm sure. And he was like, no, I'm sure we've met before. I was like, no, we haven't. And then he like pulled up my account or whatever. He was like, oh no, I just saw your picture. He's like, I thought we had met. I was like, no. So then we talked about that, and he talked to me about the possibility of needing to use mesh or not, and which they ended up not needing to do. And he said they probably weren't going to need to do that because they were doing the muscle repair. If they weren't doing the muscle repair, he would have done mesh. But, you know, with the muscles being repaired, and he's like, you know, I know that you're going to continue with like Pilates and core workouts. He gave me a big long speech about the importance of core workouts and that Pilates is best for that. And he wanted to make sure that I was continuing with that. He was like, as soon as you get the green light, you know, 6 to 8 weeks from now, he's like, I want you strengthening your muscles again to prevent this from happening again. And gave me like good information. And then Dr. Lalikos came in and she did all of the markings. I was gonna have Danny film her doing that, but it feels very invasive to film doctors and nurses, and I just didn't want to do that. It just feels very disrespectful, so I didn't do any of that. But I did have him, when she was done, she said, do you have any questions? And I said, can you give me a ballpark of like how my breasts are gonna look, or like the size that they're gonna be, because you really don't know until you get in there and you know how much tissue you're taking off. And she was like, I can give you a very close, you know, educated, you know, showing. And so she like showed me how they do it and like kind of tucked everything in and up. And she was like, here you go. And I was like, okay, I'm like really happy with that. And I think I told you guys before, when I saw her for my consultation, initially I thought I would be doing a breast lift and a small implant to get the result that I was looking for. But my doctor is very adamant that she won't do both at the same time, because she doesn't feel like the patient can make an educated decision about the size that they want of breast implant if they don't know what their breast looks like post lift. And I was like, you know what? You're the professional. That makes perfect sense to me. And she was like, we can always add an implant if we need to, but I really don't think you're gonna need that. I think you're gonna be happy with your results. And she was right. I am very happy with my results. So after that, we just waited until it was time for surgery. I was so tired. I slept for maybe 2 hours the night before, because the day before surgery, I spent the entire day, literally probably 18 to 20 hours of that day I spent filming and editing content, sponsored content, things that I just need, things that only I could do and that needed to be done before surgery. So I did that the entire day before. And then I took a shower, washed my hair, blow dried my hair, got my bedroom ready, laid out all my clothes, you know, all of those things. And then tried to go to sleep on like a super anxious, you know, belly and, you know, just thoughts. So I only got about 2 hours of sleep. So I was very tired. I was kind of like in and out of dozing off. And then Danny was also in and out of dozing off and very, very tired because he got the same amount of sleep. So finally I was like, let's just give our kisses now and go home and get some sleep, because I don't need you falling asleep on your drive home. Fun fact, he didn't go home. He went into the parking lot and he was like, I just couldn't leave. It didn't feel right. So he ended up sleeping in the car for a little while, and then like coming up to the surgical center and waiting for the doctor to come out. Surgery, she had said, was going to be somewhere around like 4 hours. The tummy tuck is usually like 2 to 2.5. And then the breast surgery, she said, is usually like an hour and a half to 2. But because that doesn't add up, so like 4 to 5 hours. But because they, no, she told us 4. She told us around 4 hours. But because of the muscle repair and the hernia repair, and she is so meticulous and just really took her time, and you got to do the drain placements and all that good stuff, and you have to like, with the breast lift, you know, you do majority of the surgery lying down, and then you lift the patient so you can see like how everything is, and they want to get them as symmetrical as possible. And it ended up being a little over 5.5 hours of surgery. So she's like, you know, she came out to talk to Danny. She was in a hurry because she was finishing up and preparing for another surgery that ended up getting bumped up. And she was like, everything went really great. I'm on the fence on whether or not I'm going to let her go home today, because that was just a long time under anesthesia, and I just would like to, you know, keep an eye. Once I finally woke up in recovery, it was, I don't even know what time. I wish Danny was here. Do you remember, Mom? I have no idea.
I can see what time he texted.
Maybe like 4?
It was late.
It was late. It was late afternoon. I honestly don't, if you don't like worry too much about it, like don't spend too much time on it. But it was late in the afternoon, and when I got up to go to the bathroom for the first time, like to get up and get moving, I was in excruciating pain, and you have to walk like fully bent over. And I stood up and I tried to do that. She was like, absolutely not. I'm going to get the wheelchair. I cried the whole time I went to the bathroom the first time, cried the whole way back to the bed, cried as they lifted my legs, because you can't engage your abdominals. So they had to like, the nurse and my husband had to lift my legs up back into the bed. And there is nothing worse than feeling completely helpless. Like, I am not that kind of person. So I was trying to help, and the nurse was like, stop using your legs, stop using your muscles.
You went to recovery at 3:30.
3:30 I went to recovery. So then I probably woke up somewhere around 5.
No. Closer to 6.
6. Yeah. It was late. I do know that. It was late. They did give me pain meds, and I was like, my blood pressure was really low, like 70 something over like 50 something. And the nurse was like, I'm going to reach out to the doctor. And I was like, if my opinion of the situation matters at all, I'd prefer to stay. If it doesn't, I totally get it. But if Dr. Lalikos cares at all what I feel, I would like to stay. And
that was at 6. They decided to keep you.
To keep me at 6. Yeah. Danny was like, Dr. Lalikos was on the fence, so I'm sure she's going to want to keep you. So So I stayed the night. They brought down a bed. I got out of the stretcher and onto an actual hospital bed, just as comfortable. And I stayed the night there in the PACU. And the nurses were so wonderful. Every single nurse that I had was so wonderful, so caring, so kind, so compassionate. Like, what can I get for you? What do you need? Just so very kind. And I kept saying to them, like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they were like, it's so easy when we have a nice patient. But they just were all incredible. And I made sure they all knew how wonderful they were. And Danny made sure they all knew how wonderful they were before we left. So then the next morning, I was trying to eat. I really couldn't. I was incredibly nauseous from the pain medication and like very, very nauseous. So they were giving me pain medication plus the anti-nausea medicine. Plus they added in a muscle relaxer because I'm going to tell you right now, I had zero pain in the actual tummy tuck incisions. That's all still very numb from the nerve blocker. I don't have any feeling there. But my abdominals that have not been together in almost 20 years are very, very tight, very uncomfortable, and they were incredibly sore. Like I did 2,000 sit-ups and just on top of like random sharp shooty pain from the nerve endings firing, and it was very, very uncomfortable. And so when I saw the plastic surgeon the next day, she was like, I'm gonna prescribe you a muscle relaxer to just get those muscles to calm down and relax so that they can heal. And that was a massive game changer. While I was in the hospital, I got on a really good medication routine between the narcotic pain medication, the anti-nausea medicine, a Tylenol, and the muscle relaxer. We figured out a good, like, however many hours in between each, and it was such a good, solid routine that besides, like, the headache from not having caffeine and just the overall nausea from all the medicine and not eating, and, you can't have anything after midnight the night before surgery. Now it's Wednesday because I had surgery Tuesday morning. I hadn't eaten since, Monday night at 7 p.m. Now it's Wednesday and I haven't really eaten. So that really was contributing to the nausea too. I was trying to like drink little applesauce containers. They did bring me plenty of food. I just couldn't eat it. And there was no room in my abdomen, you know what I mean, to eat any of that either. So, I did end up eating oatmeal and lots of popsicles and applesauce and graham crackers, and that really helped. And then the doctor checked in and asked if I was ready to go home. They felt like I was ready to go home. I was, off of all IV medication. Everything was being tolerated orally. I wasn't vomiting. I was up and walking to and from the bathroom perfectly fine. And I felt like I was ready to go home, and I wanted to be home in time for New Year's Eve with my kids and my family, and I was able to come home. So I think we busted out of the hospital at like 3:30 on the 31st, and it was so funny. She was getting me all ready to go. Like every time she'd come in to tell me something like, okay, you can get in your clothes to go home. 2:10 I got home?
No, you were on your way.
On my way, okay. So yeah, I got home like 3-ish, a little before 3. But when she came in to tell me I could get dressed, it was already happening. Danny and I were already like putting on my pajamas. When she came in to tell me, I don't even know what else, but we were just like one step ahead of the game the whole time. And the nurse was just like, you've got this great nurse right here. I was like, he should have been a nurse. He's so good. And he was anticipating like what was coming next. So when he went to go get the car, she was walking me out, and I had brought a pillow because you need to kind of like hold the pillow to your stomach, almost like after a cesarean. And we got to the car and he opened the door and she was like, oh man, I should have brought you a stool. And he was like this? And he literally, in the car, he had a stool and a pillow for me. So he had already like prepared. She was just like, amazing. It's like you anticipated everything, you know? And I said, we did so much research before this so that we were prepared. We're not your normal patient, like we over-research sometimes. Getting into the car was terrible. Driving home was terrible. I literally like drove home completely hunched over, almost with my forehead on the dashboard and like holding on to the pillow. Every bump just felt like a mountain. Like it was terrible. I was so nauseous from being in the car, and all I wanted was a donut. So he stopped and got me donuts. I got the whole family donuts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but that's fine. And then we got home, and my mom was home taking care of the kids, and she had made me homemade chicken noodle soup. So had some of that. My chair was, I told you guys I was borrowing my mother-in-law's recliner. It was all set up and ready to go. So I was nervous about taking the couple of steps up into my house, but they were perfectly fine. I was able to just, walk to the chair and get situated. Danny got me whatever meds I needed. My mom got me food, and I felt great. Like pain, delirious still trying to sleep off all that anesthesia from being, under for so long. But I just felt so good, and every day has just gotten a little better. I will tell you, so now we're full 7 days past surgery, and I feel fantastic today. Everything is very, very tight. I feel like I have a corset on that I just want to loosen or adjust. It's very difficult to take like a full deep breath. It's very difficult to eat a full meal right now. That will all relax over time. Everything is very swollen right now still. And, when she was marking me up for surgery, she said to me, I'm going to have to do very minimal liposuction. This liposuction is only going to be on your sides. And she's like, this is all just skin. She's like, but if I show you this video right here of my before, you'll notice it looks like I have like those lines for abs, That is not what that is my abs being so separated, I had more than a 4-finger separation, and all of my internal organs in my abdominal area were pushing. And so it looked like I had a big belly, but it was just that because your abdominal muscles hold all of that in. So she's like, once I put those back together, it's going to push all that back in. And let me tell you, I feel it. I feel them all back in there, That's been the most uncomfortable, but totally manageable. And then I did leave with 2 drains. I've got a drain on either side, and I am going to take you into the bathroom. I'm going to take everything off, and I'll show you how everything looks 1 week post-op. But I have 2 drains that are in to, just drain any extra fluid that your body makes while it's healing. And they're next to empty now. They've done a phenomenal job, and I'm curious at my first post-op tomorrow if they're going to recommend taking one of them out. When I saw the plastic surgeon in the hospital, she said usually they take one out at the 1 to 2 week mark, depending on how your drainage is going. And I'm nervous. I've watched a lot of videos about people who took their drains out too early, and then they got like a seroma. Is that what that is? Where you have like a pocket of fluid, and I'm nervous that like I'm gonna start to feel really good and get up and move around a lot. I'm gonna have a lot of fluid build up, and I kind of want to just keep the drain, to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't want to be so eager to get them removed. They're gross. I don't like them. I don't like looking at them. But they serve a purpose, and so I don't want to take them out too soon. Okay, let me check my notes and make sure there's not things here that I am forgetting to talk about. I do also just want to mention, everybody's experience is different. My mom and I have watched a bunch of videos together, and literally from like super great experience, with minimal downtime and very great healing, all the way down to it was the worst experience of my life. I don't know if I should have done it. Like, I do think that there's some elements of maybe misinformation or not a lot of research done before going in, and so not knowing what to expect, and so being surprised by a lot of things where I don't feel surprised by anything. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but I just want to point out that everybody's experience is different. This is my experience only, and I've never had any other kind of plastic surgery, so I don't know. You know, everybody's recovery is different. You have to stay in a that's the other thing. Coughing, impossible. Absolutely impossible. And I imagine it's because I can't thoroughly engage my abdominals yet. Laughing, impossible. Don't want to do it, don't recommend. I currently am living in this binder that I came home from the hospital in. It's not the most comfortable thing, let me tell you, but it is very supportive. When I take it off, I feel like everything's just gonna burst open. I feel like I ate like a giant Thanksgiving dinner, but I feel, you know, very, very, very like secure in this. They sent me home in a much bigger one, then they had another one in there for me to put on. This one was much smaller, fits way better. It feels more compressive and more supportive. They tell you have to stay in beach chair position, which means exactly this. You have to be like lifted in the back, and your legs cannot be just like down on the ground. You have to kind of be in like a well, like a W. And it's a very comfortable, I feel very, very comfortable. First couple of nights I slept in the chair with like a neck pillow, but the last 2 nights I have been in the bed. I actually you'll already have seen like a little compilation of like all of those videos before you see all this talking, and you'll see me getting into the bed for the first time. That was very, very nice. It's nice to be in the bed with my husband again and not be sleeping in the chair. My tailbone is killing me. My hips hurt. My lower back, it sucks so bad to walk around. Well, no, it sucks so bad to like be hunched over, but if I don't get up and walk around, you know, throughout the day, it's way worse. Last night was the first night I slept through the night without like back and hip pain and tailbone pain. And I was telling my mom this morning, I think it's because I was up and moving so much. Sorry. I haven't done this much talking in a week. So my pain level right now, I would say is 0.5 out of 10. I have really no pain, just an uncomfortable feeling, very, very tight in my abs. I wouldn't even say sore like I worked out. I would just say tight, very, very tight. There's a lot of swelling, and when I take the binder off, it just feels incredibly tight, very uncomfortable, but not painful. Walking, you know, I just have to walk around in a bent over position, but I bend kind of like a U. I bend at my knees and I bend at, you know, my back. I'm so thankful I did all those squats before I did this, because my legs are so strong that I feel comfortable like bending at the knee the whole time when I'm walking. I think that has tremendously helped my recovery. And because I did the breast lift as well, I can't do a lot of like overhead stuff. I can lift my arms all the way up. There's no pulling, like that's perfectly fine. I don't have any drains. I didn't, you know, the way that I would explain, I think my breasts are more uncomfortable than everything else. And the way I would explain it is that I feel like I need to pump. Like I'm a nursing mom who missed a feed or 2 or 3 and needs to pump. If you understand that feeling, that's what it feels like. It's very uncomfortable, swollen on the sides because she did some liposuction on the sides. So that is the most uncomfortable. And the way that they're taped for the scar, it's clear that they went from sternum out. And so it's like pulling up, and I think pulling up and out. So I think when that tape starts to come off and they just rest like normal, they'll be more comfortable. So let's talk about like my emotional state. Going in, and I hope I don't get emotional now, but going in, I was incredibly emotional. I grew a lot of children in there. I grew a lot of babies in there. It was like this last part of my physical healing, like the last part of the puzzle piece, you know what I mean? And it was just very emotional. There was a time, a day or two before surgery, where Danny was like, I don't know if I want you to do the breast, surgery. Like, it's going to be weird not seeing your body the way that I've known it for so long. He's like, I love your body the way that it is, but since then, we're both very, very, very happy with the results, and I'm glad that I did it. And it's so much more comfortable. If you breastfed, or if you have heavy breasts that have, unfortunately succumbed to gravity, they're very uncomfortable without a bra, and I don't have that anymore. I don't have that feeling anymore. Seeing my body for the first time, if you didn't see that reel, I will input it here. It is 5:10, the morning of surgery, and we are headed to the hospital. The 6 a.m. check-in. Let's go get this mommy makeover. Say bye to this well-loved tummy. Be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot, and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll talk a cup of kindness yet, for days of old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, and here's a hand of mine. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet, for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll talk a cup of kindness yet, for old lang syne. But seeing my body for the first time post-surgery was mind-blowing. It was so radically different from going in, but yet it still looked like me, and I was very emotional. I was still very drugged, and so that also was kind of messing with me, but it was very emotional. I am trusting the healing process, and I am doing every single thing I was told to do. I was told to get up and move around at least once an hour minimum, but more is better because you want to avoid blood clots. That's the other thing I didn't mention. I did come home with a blood thinner prescription. Same medication I used throughout my pregnancies. I do have factor V, which is a blood clotting disorder. I have had complications from blood clots in the past, never in my own body, but I have had blood clots in pregnancies. I had a blood clot in an umbilical cord in a pregnancy, and my son Ronan had a giant softball-sized blood clot in his placenta when he was born. Huge, like bigger than my fist, like the biggest blood clot I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm at very high risk for blood clotting. And so they did send me home with the Lovenox. I was so thankful because they did not do that after my hysterectomy. And that was one of my biggest fears. But I also had the leg compressions when I was in the hospital, and Danny had them from his knee surgery. So the first couple nights I used those. But then I started to feel less stressed about it. And, especially because I was taking the Lovenox, I felt better. So I didn't use those anymore because I was feeling really good. But just, trying to remember that this process is not just a physical healing, it's an emotional healing. And I had talked to a lot of friends who have undergone plastic surgery who prepared me for that, who prepared me for the ups and downs of the emotions, not to mention you're on narcotics, and that also has your emotions going all over the place. But going from elated and feeling proud and happy and you love your results to feeling regret and why did I do this and, you know, feeling selfish and just trying to give myself a ton of grace. I allow myself to feel the emotions. I take them for what they are. I don't judge them. I remember that, okay, your friend told you this was going to happen. This is happening. And then letting it go. And, you know, I feel really, really good. Really, really good. I will say that I feel a million times better than I thought I was going to feel at this point. I do get tired. I do get winded, but I am driving my family crazy because I am so independent right now. Like, I just want to be up and doing things. Obviously things that I'm listening to my body. I'm only doing things that I can, but it feels good to be up and moving. It feels good on my back. It feels good on my hips and my tailbone. The swelling is definitely not going down as of yet, and it won't. It's going to be a while. Everything that I've read and seen says that you can be swollen up to a year. So, and that when I start being more active and physical and I add back like physical activity, that can happen as well. So, you know, just remembering that when I'm looking at everything, you know. The other thing too is that right now I'm battling the urge to want to be up and back to my routine because I feel so good. I want to be working out. I want to be filming. I want to be decorating. I want to be doing things because I feel so good, but I cannot. I cannot do those things yet. I need to listen to my body, and I think I feel so good because I have done literally nothing for a week. Yesterday I got out of the house for the first time with my mom. We went and ran errands. She drove. We went to the dump, got rid of like, you know, cardboard from Christmas and everything. Had to go to the post office. Went to Panera, had a little breakfast, and then we went and picked up a grocery order, and it felt so good to be out of the house. I didn't do anything but sit in the passenger seat and walk into the Panera, but you know, my mom did all the driving, she did all the running around, she did all the, you know, put the stuff in the dumpster and everything. But it felt so good to be out of the house and doing those things. Like I said, I've got my first post-op appointment tomorrow, so that'll be my first like outing. So I think that's gonna be enough talking for now. Let's go ahead and head into the bathroom. I'm gonna show you what things look like, and I'll show you, you know, the 1 week where we're at. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions down below. I'm happy to answer any of them for you. Remember that everybody's experience is different. Everybody's recovery is different. Everybody's surgery is different. Do not compare yours to mine. We're not the same people, and you know, everybody is going to experience this differently, but feel so good 1 weekend. Okay. All right, here we are in front of the camera. You guys always ask me to put the camera on the tripod when I'm in front of the mirror. So that's what we're going to do for today. So here I am this is like a sports bra tank top situation from Target that I bought before I had surgery. And it did not fit. And like everything was like hanging out the sides and it just did not look good. So it fits now. I should have taken a picture of myself before. Mom, will you help me with my binder? Mm-hmm. Please and thank you. I have my drains tucked into my pants as to not gross anybody out. I'll hold the top if you pull. These things are no joke. Normally Danny does this. Okay, nice job. Okay. Oh, that feels good. Oh, let a girl breathe. Okay. Here we go, looking good, looking good. Look at that, nothing, no drainage whatsoever. All right, so here is week 1 post-op. Now we literally just got back from running errands and walking a lot. We walked around Michael's, we walked around Walmart, we went to lunch. But as you can see, I'm gonna put my before picture up here as well. She was able to remove all of that skin that would have just been like hanging over my pants right here. My scar is literally hip to hip. You see where my drains come out here on the ends of each side. So total hip to hip. I do have a mark here from where she did liposuction on this side. I'm assuming either she didn't do lipo on this side, which I don't think so because I have bruises from it, but she must have used maybe like one of the other incision sites because there's no, I don't have that mark on this side. Or maybe after she closed me up, she did some more. I'm not sure. I'll see her tomorrow and I'll be able to ask her. My belly button looks amazing. It is my belly button. If you're unsure how they do all of that, I don't want to gross people out. So maybe skip ahead if this is going to gross you out, but they cut around it. They leave it where it is. They pull the skin down, cut a new hole in the skin, and then attach the belly button. So it is your belly button in the same place that it was. But all of that skin is gone. Everything is nice and flat, and all of my muscles are now attached. So if you remember in that previous picture, I'll put it up here, I had those lines out here, and that's because my abdominal muscles were way out here and everything was pushing out. And now it's not. And now it's not. I'm not going to show you my breasts. I don't feel that that's appropriate for my channel to put my breasts on the internet. But this is no bra. This is no support whatsoever. Like this does not have any kind of support. This is not holding them up. So where they're sitting is where they sit now. I don't have what they affectionately call the chicken cutlets. She was able to get rid of those. My mom's in the background, if you're wondering who's whispering. She had told me that she wasn't sure if she was going to do any lipo there. She wanted to wait until she got the breasts back where they belong. That's literally what she said. She goes, when we put them back where they belong, then we can decide if we need to do any kind of lipo. So I don't know. I have a little bit of bruising. I also need to shave, but haven't been able to shower in a week. So I do have a little bit of bruising, but I don't know if she did liposuction or not. I am incredibly happy with these results. I am obviously swollen, but not obviously swollen, if that makes sense. Like what I looked like before, to me, like this just looks fantastic. I know it's swollen because I can feel the fluid and I can push the fluid around. But I think it just looks incredible. And if it's only going to get better from here, I'm feeling really, really good. It is tight, so very tight. I can feel it when I touch it, but it's very minimal like feeling. So feeling absolutely amazing. Here is the side view for now. Like I said, I have to be hunched over. I feel like once I'm able to stand up, this will look really great. And once the swelling goes down, this lower area right here is the last to go down in your swelling. So that could be a while, but I feel incredibly happy with these results 1 week in. I feel like it's just gonna get better from here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that binder back on because I feel like I need some support.